Hi guys, it's Erica with Not Your Average EDC, and today I have a MAGNACUT update for y'all. Week 1 of MAGNACUT is complete, and yesterday something really freaking weird happened, so I figured I'd throw it on a video. So, this knife has been absolutely fantastic the entire week. Been doing a lot of work with it, holding a great edge. It seems tough, it seems like it is great for everyday carry, and for like some hard use that I've put it through so far. But yesterday, it completely let me down. So I was taking down a tent at work. We had a massive tent set up, and there was a bunch of sisal rope that was holding the top of the tent to the rest of the poles. Like, a lot of rope. I mean, this is a massive tent that I'm talking about that had a whole bunch of plants underneath it and stuff. And I had to cut all of the rope off to release the tarp on the top. And this knife has been, shaving sharp the whole time. It was sharp when I went into the project, and I cut probably 2 pieces of rope. They were pretty small in diameter, and it started to go dull. And I was kind of surprised. It's been doing so well. So it got to the point where I was having to put force behind my cuts, which makes me nervous because once you start having to put force behind it, that's when you can slip up and have an accident. So what I ended up doing was flipping the knife around and sticking it up in between the metal pole and the rope and using the pole as leverage to kind of help make the cut for me. That way I wasn't putting a lot of force into it, and I was doing it away from myself so that it would kind of launch outward. That seemed to work much better once I was able to have that force from the pole helping to push into the rope. But then 3 or 4 of those went by, and even that wasn't really working. So eventually I was literally kind of like at a loss, and it just wasn't sharp enough to cut through the rope anymore. And I had to do some different types of cuts, sticking it like, depending on how it was tied up, sometimes sticking it down in between the knot and pushing it out and trying to saw outward. Sometimes, holding one part and really trying to put some back into it. And I mean, I did get the job done, but it just went dull. It was really wild. And then what sucked the most was I haven't sharpened this yet. So when I went inside into the farm stand area, I have brought a stone to work. It's a double-sided Norton stone, like an oil stone, with a fine side and a coarse side. And I was like, okay, well, at least I have one stone at work to touch this up so that I can work the rest of the day. But the only problem was the stone wasn't hard enough to sharpen the steel. So what I mean is the grit of that stone was not creating a scratch pattern or a burr or anything on this knife because the steel is too hard, and the stone itself was not hard enough to overcome the strength of the steel to get it to get those teeth to straighten back out. So that sucked because then I was screwed. Like, I did not have a knife. I had, like, my little, Swiss Army blades and stuff. But my main blade was officially gone for the day. And I do have a diamond stone at home, so I will fix this edge today on the diamond stone. It just sucks because it's tiny. It's, like, this big, and it's very difficult to work with. I have to get, like, a better system, which I'm looking into. But, yeah. So with MAGNACUT, at least with this MAGNACUT that I have from BGM Knives, you have to use a diamond stone. Anything else apparently is too soft and it won't touch this. But I don't know what the heck happened. It just crapped out. It just completely crapped out, and I couldn't fix it. So I'm hoping when I sharpen it again, we'll see how it continues. It was just honestly kind of surprising because one of the things that irked me about the Chris Reeve S35 VN was that it would let go on me during work, and I can't have that happen. I rely on my knives too much at work to have that type of thing come up. So hopefully it was like a one-off. I don't really know. Just being honest about what happened. The rope was way too much for it, way too coarse, and it just instantly was like gone. It was a goner. So that's the week 1 update of the MAGNACUT. Otherwise, it's been absolutely fantastic. It just did not like that rope for some reason. And the only other thing I have to say on this video is I got something very exciting in the mail. A friend bought me a Micro Commander from Emerson. And this is exciting. So I did not realize that they were going to make these again, but they did. They did a run of them. They're tiny. Like, I have a mini grip here, which is a very, very, very small knife. And they are very close in size. The Micro Commander is a little bit longer, but just by a hair. So this knife is very small. And I always loved the Commander series. I think that it's a genius idea to have this type of blade shape for certain EDC tasks. If you're doing a lot of cardboard cutting, the recurve really just eats that up, and it's a fantastic blade shape. This is the same size as a Mini A100, which is really cool. Like, literally same size. So, I will be testing this at some point. I'm very excited. I believe it has like a double detent, and I'm just so stoked about this in general. It fits my hand perfectly. It's just a tiny little Commander knife. And I'm really curious to see how the testing goes, because I was supposed to test a Mini Commander that I had, but it was just too big for me, so I sold it and I got the Micro. Very smooth. Like, Emerson is really dialing in some stuff that they had issues with for many, many years, but it is just so silky. Nice strong detent. Very nice blade for sure. I will say though, this one has a burnt tip, and I have seen those coming out quite often. I'm not sure if I'll be able to pick that up on camera. It doesn't bother me at all, but I'm just saying, if you're very particular about your knives, Emerson burns the tips on occasion. I don't think it even picked it up. But their grinds themselves are really nice. Like, their edge grinds and their bevel grinds and all that stuff, they do a really good job. But some of the stuff just, like, is common. And the burnt tip is something that just happens with them. But yeah, very excited about the tiny little Micro Commander. Curious to see what the heck happens with this. I'm going to get it sharpened back up and see what happens. But yeah, I don't know, man. That was freaking weird. That was so weird. And the strange thing is, I like came home and just for the hell of it tried cutting some paper after running it on that stone at work a little bit. Like, I knew the stone wasn't really doing anything, but I was just trying to put some experimental testing in, and it's like slicing paper. Like, it's slicing paper very well, but then I go to cut something else with like grit to it, and it just can't bite it. It can't get into it. It can't cut it. And it's weird. So this will cut paper right now, but I mean, I shouldn't be able to do that. It's so strange. This steel is seriously, like, confusing me a little bit so far. I have not figured it out yet. Like, I've figured out S30V and 154 and S35, all those. Like, I got those dialed in. This one is new and this one is different, and I don't get it yet. I wonder if I can grab a piece of paper to show you guys, because this is, like, you would really think that's dull. Like, I'm putting, like, the weight of my knife, like, I'm letting the weight of the knife run on my hand, and it's not doing anything. And, like, my other knives would have literally cut my hand open. Like, a knife with that much weight in the front of it, running it on my hand would normally slice my hand open. It's not doing shit. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can get a piece of paper, because I would really like to show you what I'm talking about. Alright. Let's see if we can get this on camera. And I understand everyone that's going to come in and say, well, it's the thickness behind the edge and it's the way it was ground and whatever. I'm literally just talking you through what I'm experiencing, okay? That's all I'm doing, just for testing purposes. Oops, that was user error there, sorry. Oops, now it's hung up there, but, okay, do you see what I'm saying? Like, it is cutting through the paper. And I'm sure part of the reason that I'm just having a little bit of trouble here is because this is that is a thick piece of blade stock. So this is kind of like a wedge going through paper right now. But my point is, it does not feel sharp. I can run my fingers on it with pressure. It's not cutting my fingers at all. I feel zero toothiness right now. Because that sharpening didn't do anything. It could not work with those teeth because the stone was too soft. It won't cut anything with any type of grit to it, but it will clean sliced paper. Very weird. Very, very weird. I don't understand you yet, MAGNACUT. I just don't. But I like you. You're just weird. Okay, yeah. So there's the update. I will throw it on the DMT stone, try to get some type of tooth to it, do an update after that. But yeah, there's week 1 with MAGNACUT, guys. Very strange. Very strange indeed. All right, I'll see you guys later. Use your fucking shit. Use your fucking shit. Use your shit. Shit your use.